Our top focus at this hour. Now, the US believes that a small crucial window of diplomacy remains for Russia to de-escalate tensions at the Ukraine border, as Western leaders engages in a flurry of talks to defuse the crisis.
What we're not saying. We are not saying that President Putin has made a final decision. We have not communicated otherwise to our partners. We believe that diplomacy continues to be viable. We believe that there still remains a window to resolve this through dialogue and diplomacy.
US President Joe Biden spoke to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson as Russia sent thousands more troops to its border with Ukraine. British officials estimated that a further 14 Russian battalions is heading towards Ukraine, on top of the 100 already amassed at the border. Now, the continued build-up of forces was enough for Johnson to call for an emergency meeting, which is to be held today. Now, both Biden and Johnson agreed that diplomatic discussions with Russia remained their first priority and reiterated that Western allies must remain united in the face of Russian threats. Now, this included imposing significant sanctions should Russia further aggravate tensions. The White House on Monday once again reiterated that a Russian invasion could begin at any time. Listen in.
What we're seeing with Russia, we're seeing new Russian forces have been arriving at the Ukrainian border every day. As we have said before, we're in the window when an invasion could begin at any time. We will not comment on any details of our intelligence information, except to say that it could begin this week, despite a lot of speculation that it would happen after the Olympics. Again, something that Jake Sullivan said right here on Friday. It remains unclear which path Russia will choose to take. The U.S. is ready for any situation.
With U.S. troops deployed in Europe, the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin will depart tomorrow to visit Belgium, Lithuania and Poland. Austin is also set to meet NATO allies in Brussels. Meanwhile, the Pentagon said that China's unspoken support of Moscow was deeply alarming. This as the U.S. Defense Department spokesperson on the issue.
China has decided that they're going to stand alongside Russia with respect to what's going on in Europe, and we would say that their tacit support, if you will, for Russia is deeply alarming, and frankly, even more destabilizing to the security situation in Europe.
Now, France has estimated that Russia already has enough troops at the border to launch an invasion. But foreign minister said assessments by Paris and its allies believe that President Putin was blowing hot and cold and is yet to make up his mind on whether to attack or not. Now, as Western intelligence officials warned that February 16th could mark the start of an invasion after the departure of German Chancellor Olaf Scholz from Moscow. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky appeared to dismiss the suggestion in an address to the nation. He announced that Wednesday would be marked as Unity Day instead and urged his countrymen to fly the national flag in defiance.
Нам кажуть, що 16 лютого стане днем нападу. Ми зробимо його днем єднання. Відповідний указ я вже підписав.
The UN chief to express his worry over the heightened rhetoric and called for public statements to be aimed towards calming the crisis and not fanning them.
The time is now to defuse tensions and de-escalate actions on the ground. There is no place for incendiary rhetoric. Public statements should aim to reduce tensions, not inflame them. I welcome the recent flurry of diplomatic contacts and engagements, including between heads of state, but more needs to be done, and I expect all to intensify their efforts.
And for more on this, WION correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report. Listen in.
During a 40-minute telephone conversation, U.S. President Joe Biden spoke with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Monday as the two leaders discussed their diplomatic engagements with Ukraine and Russia. They also reviewed diplomatic and deterrence efforts in response to Russia's ongoing military buildup on the Ukrainian border and reaffirmed their commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. According to the White House, they also discussed efforts to reinforce the defensive posture on NATO's eastern flank and underlined the continued close coordination among allies and partners, including on readiness to impose severe consequences on Russia should it decide to invade Ukraine. Shortly after the call, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky took to Facebook and apparently with an air of sarcasm said that Russia would invade his country in earnest by Wednesday. All this while Russia continues to deny that it plans that invasion. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.